Sometimes a new location in Marvel Snap means you're gonna see the same deck over and over again, and that is exactly what happened with this new featured location of the Collapsed Mine. I'm seeing these Death Wave decks all over the place, and if you wanna see the version of Death Wave that I've had the most success with since we've had this new featured location, then you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button, and let's go snap it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Marvel Snap fans. Welcome back to the Valley Snap channel. I am ValleyFlyin, and I hope you're having a lot of fun playing Marvel Snap and snapping on your opponents and everything. Welcome to this channel. We're talking about the brand new featured location, Collapsed Mine, in this video, and one of the formerly meta decks, still a meta deck that's all over the place now because of this new Collapsed Mine featured location. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Snap content. There's at least 5 Marvel Snap videos per week on this channel with location guides, deck guides, news, tips, tricks, everything that helps your Marvel Snap experience. But let's get right into the game and talk about this version of Death Wave that I've been using. Now, this is very similar to another Death Wave deck that we featured on this channel. The one big exception is that instead of She-Hulk, we now have Moon Girl in this deck. And the reason for that is we want to try to duplicate death as many times as possible. Now, with the new Collapsed Mine location, what's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of rocks at both locations. And then when you or your opponent skips a turn, those rocks are destroyed. Now, you could also force that destroy with a card like Killmonger to destroy those 1-cost cards. And if you get a bunch of destroys, well, 8 destroys, that is going to be a 1-cost death. And if you play another card like Yondu or anything else that destroys a card, that'll be a 0-cost deck that we could potentially copy if everything goes right with Moon Girl, giving us a very strong leader or arrow play on turn 6 with another death there as well, potentially playing a bunch of strong cards, 2 deaths on the final turn. We also have a lot of similar cards that you've seen in other Death Waves decks, like Hood. If Hood is destroyed, or when Hood is played, it is a -2 card, but you're also getting this 1/6 card in your hand whenever you play that Hood. So you could use this and destroy it on a location. This is great for a location like Death's Domain. It's great for a location where you want the lowest cards possible, or the lowest cards to get destroyed. A lot of great locations for the Hood. Squirrel Girl is there to get more 1-cost cards out on the field that we could potentially destroy. Yondu is great because he's going to remove the top card from your opponent's deck, and that counts as a destroy for death. So this is essentially another destroy card with Yondu, and it's giving you some intel. You're going to see what gets destroyed, and your opponent's not going to have that card to play with. So potentially a huge disruption for your opponent. Bucky Barnes is there to get destroyed as well from either one of the locations, or a card like Deathlock or Carnage that could destroy Bucky Barnes and turn into a 2/6 Winter Soldier with some very great tempo. Carnage is there for more destroys, either a Squirrel Girls or a Hood or a Bucky Barnes. Killmonger is there for those pesky rocks that might pop up on that location. Wave is there to get our cards out earlier. Now, on some of these battles, you notice that we use Wave to get these cards out earlier because we don't want to swap hands on turn 6, or we don't want to give our opponents some good cards on turn 6. So if we don't get all the Collapsed Mine locations and destroying all those cards, we can play Wave to get death out earlier and potentially get a 0-cost death. If we play death, or if we play Wave on turn 5, and we have enough destroys, well, death is essentially a 0-cost card. If we do that and we've copied our death with Moon Girl, we could have a lot of deaths in hand, all at 0 cost. So good stuff here. Arrow is there as well, and like in all these Death Wave decks for some location control. Can play on turn 5 and pull enemy cards to that location, either you winning that location with that 7 power, but more likely moving cards away from a location that you want to win. And then leaders there just for some annoyance when things don't go right. If we manage to get some, if we manage to win a few locations at the end of the game, even if we don't have a lot of power, a lot of times leader can get the victory for us. So that is this Death Wave deck that I'm running. Like I said, the only difference in the previous Death Wave deck that we were using before was She-Hulk got replaced by Moon Girl. So that means that there are no pool 4 or 5 cost cards in here right now. So that is a deck. Let's go check out some gameplay and how this deck works with a new featured location. All right, we got Carnage, Yondu, and Bucky Barnes all the play on turn 1. And that is what we want. We got the Collapse Mine there. If we get a Killmonger, this is going to be very, very good for us. Nothing to really counter those Collapse rocks instead of all those rocks. Only thing that we really have to counter is that Killmonger. So there goes the destroy of their cards. We got a double card there. Do we skip our turn now or do we wait? We can go ahead and skip our turn now. That's going to be 8 destroys. That's going to be a very low cost death right now. And based on that, destroyed 4. We'll have 4 plus the 1. All right, so that gets destroyed. They have a Daredevil in their hand right now. Will we get our death? Especially with Shuri's Lab. If we can play a death on Shuri's Lab, we're going to be in very good shape. What we can do right now, though, is we can go with Bucky Barnes and either play Carnage or Deathlock on that next turn there. All right, so they're going with Angela. They're going to try to beat that Collapse Mine there. Will we get our death? We don't have our hood yet. So what we can do is we could go, we don't have our death yet. So we could go hood and then we could go Carnage. They're destroying both of these cards. We'll get an extra 1 cost demon in our hand. We should have a lot of potential power out of the Collapse Mine as well. So I think we're going to go for a push for Collapse Mine and Shuri's Lab. Just kind of forego New York at this point. All right, they're going Scorpion us. Not great. Still looking for that win condition for our death. We still don't have death. There's a Killmonger. Doesn't really make a difference at this point. We can go with the demon now. Playing a Deathlock won't do too much. We could go with demon now. We could get a little more power out on New York as well. We could go ahead and get 4 power out there. And we're going to see what they do. Let's see if we could get our death to pop up. We don't have our Moon Girl in hand. We don't have an arrow. We do have a leader. So if we're winning at a few of these locations, we can. Leader is still an option there. They go with Hobgoblin, giving us a very, very strong negative power there. Yes. -8. We're -2. They have 4 power there. Will this be enough? We do have our death, which is great. We could go ahead and move this away. We could go the 0 cost death, and we could also leader the location. So where will we leader? I think we're gonna go and go ahead and leader the Collapse Mine. We play anything on Shuri's Lab. Will that be doubled? I think we're gonna go there. I think we actually want to move Yondu away there and then play leader on the other location. So let's undo that all. Let's move ahead, move Yondu. Let's move Hobgoblin. Let's put the death there. That should be a big play on Shuri's Lab. And if they do anything on Collapse Mine, I think we win. So we should have snapped here. We didn't get that death till later. Let's see how this ends up. We're going after Shuri's Lab and Collapse Mine. What do they play here? They're not playing on Shuri's Lab. We will get that Shuri's Lab. We do get the leader, so we're going to match the power of their cards. Unfortunately, we get the late reveals, so their Spider-Woman goes first at 17. What is the final play? They have a Nightcrawler, so we get the win. All right. We got the death and got the Collapse Mines. Looking good, guys. All right, we have Arrow, we have Bucky Barnes, and we have Wave all showing up on turn 1. We're gonna get a copy of something in their hand. It is a Taskmaster, which is great if we could get our death out early. Nothing to play on turn 1. We're gonna go ahead and skip here. We do have a Bucky Barnes followed by Deathlock for a turn 2 and 3. Can also potentially skip a turn if we have death show up on our hands and get those mines. All right, so we have Bifrost. All the cards are going to move down 1 location. We're going to go ahead and go with Bucky Barnes. Let's go with Bucky Barnes on the Bifrost. Kind of gambling a little bit. That last location on the right hasn't showed itself yet. So it's still not revealed. What is that location going to be? Now the big question is, do we go with Deathlock or do we try to play Carnage on this turn? I think we go for a little bit more power and go with Deathlock. All right, we're going to swap hands here. I think because of that, we play our wave and try to get our leader out as soon as possible. I think that's going to be the best play. Their Venom gets nothing. Interesting play there over their Venom. All right, so our Deathlock destroys our Bucky Barnes, turns him into Winter Soldier. We can get some destroys, but I think what we're going to do now is we're going to play wave, and then we're going to go leader on this next turn. Get that out of our hand. They go wave as well. They want to get something out of their hand as well. They go Iceman. And unfortunately, that gives leader an extra cost, but because we played wave, it is going to be a 4-cost card, not a 5-cost card. Everything's moving to the right. We're going to go ahead and leader whatever they do here. It looks like we have the Mindscape location. We're going to go ahead and leader right now. Going to give us an extra 1, but we can't play anything yet. They're going to get a Taskmaster. They're going to get an Arrow. They're going to get a Killmonger, Carnage, and Squirrel Girl. The biggest threat I think they could play is that Taskmaster, in case they have something big there. All right, so they go Magic. That's not the best, but we're going to swap hands here and see what they give us. Are they going to give us anything good, or are they going to give us a bunch of crap? All right, let's see what they gave us. They have that Taskmaster. Oh, we actually stole that Taskmaster. We stole that Taskmaster from them. They have a Death in hand. We could go with Red Skull, or we could go with Sarah. I think we're going to go with Sarah. Just give us a few options at the end there. Unfortunately, no real strong cards to destroy. They know that we have the Death in hand, so I don't think they want to play some of those other cards there. We can't play our Ebony Maw. We're going to go ahead and Sarah that location, just so it's not... Actually, let's Sarah the middle location. They already have 3 cards in the middle. We'll have 3 cards in the middle of a slight advantage, and we can see what cards we're going to play here. They go Arrow. They pull our card over. They go with Leader as Zero, excuse me. All right, so nothing that we could really play now except for this Red Skull. I'm thinking the best play right now is going to be this Red Skull. Our Death does cost 7. So if we play Red Skull in the middle, it's going to add +8. Yeah, so I think the best play at this point is Death and not Red Skull. So that's what I think we're going to go with. We should win the middle. We'll give them the left. And is 10 power going to be enough for that 0? What do they have? Nothing that we gave them, unless they drew something good. They already drew that 0. What are they hoping to get here? Let's play this out. I think that's the most power that we could put on the board right now. We don't have a 0 of our own to delete that Red Skull ability. All right, so we're going to get the middle. Looks like they're going to get the left, and I guess the big location is, what is Carnage going to do? Is he going to get enough? It looks like it's going to be 7 power there, so we get the win. So, interesting victory. All right, we have Squirrel Girl, we have Bucky Barnes, and we have Leader all in hand. There is the Collapse Mine. That is what we wanted. Do we play Squirrel Girl now or skip? I think we skip right now. Get rid of both the rocks. If we have Death in hand, I think that is a snap. Do we get Death? We can't play cards there after turn 4. We're going to try to get as much power as possible. We can play the Bucky Barnes there. It could be a little risky if we don't get that... if we don't get a card to destroy it, like a Carnage or a Deathlock to destroy that before turn 4 comes up. 2-1 is just a very bad tempo play, but if we get the extra Winter Soldier out there, that wouldn't be as bad. All right, so they look like they're running a similar deck to us, some kind of destroy deck. Mindscape is the location again, and we could actually get one more destroy with our Yondu here, but unfortunately, we still don't have a Moon Girl. We still don't have... And actually, we could get another destroy there. All right, we'll get a bunch of cards destroyed. They probably have a Death in their hand as well, so probably not the best. All right, so our Bucky Barnes is not going to get destroyed. And neither will this Squirrel coming from Squirrel Girl. That's unfortunate for us. All right, there's our Moon Girl. Showed up a little late, and we still, unfortunately, don't have Death in hand, so... This is not looking good for us. If we get Death in hand, we play Death on turn 4 and then Leader on turn 5. But there's really nothing that we can play right now. They look like they're going to get the Collapse Mine. Unless they have some kind of other card they can shift around. We can play our, I think we do have to play our death right now, especially if we're going to swap hands. Got to be cognizant that they do have a leader when we change this over. I think what we could do is play death and wave, allowing Dish to play just one card. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. All right, so we're going to have death and wave. We got 15 power at Mindscape. They have Warpath. And unless they have something to spread power, if we switch these hands, they won't. Looks like we're going to win the Mindscape and we're going to win the Kiln. All right, so if the leader, a Hobgoblin, we win. If the leader here, they'll get +3 power. We'll get Professor X. I think that's the play here. I don't want to risk this Hobgoblin. The double Hobgoblin shouldn't be too bad because it'll equal the power out. I don't think there's anything that we could do Kiln, so I think we get the victory here. Let's just lock it down with Professor X, unless they pulled something like something that could give power here. Unless they pulled like a Claw or a Dr. Doom or a White Tiger. We didn't give them any of those, so I think we got the victory here. They're only going to play one card because of the wave that we played on that last turn. We're going to go with Professor X here. I think Hobgoblin would give the same result as well. All right, so they're focusing on winning the Collapsed Mine. They're going Moon Girl. They definitely got the Collapsed Mine, but we win the other two locations on their snap, so nice win here. All right, we have Bucky Barnes, we have Squirtle Girl, and we have Killmonger all showing up on turn 1. Muir Island is the location. We're going to go ahead and play our Squirrel Girl on Muir Island. We do have Bucky Barnes that we could follow up with, and we have a Killmonger as well. We have Death in hand, which is great. We get a bunch of rocks that we could destroy with our Killmonger. Let's see what their following locations are. Let's see what they play. Are they going to play something on Muir Island to try to get that power right away? Deathlock would be a great card as well. That way we could destroy this Bucky Barnes. Carnage would also be a great card. We could go Bucky Barnes on turn 2, Carnage on turn 3, destroying the Squirrel Girl and the Bucky Barnes, giving us the Winter Soldier there. They go Ant-Man. Gonna get some power right now. We could destroy that Ant-Man and our cards. Actually, destroying this would not be a bad thing. So we could, with this Bucky Barnes here in the middle, hopefully they play for that Hala and don't get and get our cards destroyed. We're gonna have 2 power there. Anything more than 2, we'll destroy our Squirrel Girl and our Bucky Barnes. Hopefully we get a bunch of rocks in this last location. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna go for the destroy now? We get a bunch of cards destroyed. We could have 3, 4 cards destroyed. That'll get our death down to 5 power, which means on turn 5 we could play death. Turn 6 we could also play leader. And I think now we're gonna have to go with the Killmonger. Let's do this. All right, turn 4 doesn't look like our cards are gonna get destroyed there. And unfortunately, it is the raft in that right location. We don't have a lot of cards that we could really follow up with. We destroy their Ant-Man, so that may be screwing up some of their plans. They get a bishop there, so they're gonna get more power on Muir Island. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of cards that we could destroy there, so this will give us a -1 on Hala. That'll be great for us. Do we want to play our leader now? I think what we can do is play this, limiting the amount of cards that they can play. I think we're gonna go with our leader. We're gonna get more cards destroyed. This should be a 3-cost death. All right, so they're discarding their Apocalypse. So I guess they're going with the discard deck, so I'm expecting some kind of Dracula or something like that coming up soon. All right, so we get our cards destroyed there at Hala. That's great. And we have a Winter Soldier there now. I guess the best card that we could play right now is our leader. And give it a little bit more power, or we could just forego that location and we could leader this location right now. We're gonna wait on our death. Our death actually has 5 destroyed on our end and 1 destroyed on their end. So it'll be a very cheap death. Do we play this right now, or will you wait to try to surprise them? I think we wait just in case they have a Shang-Chi. They won't be able to play that. Let's see what our last card is. We will have that demon. We will have that death. So they played Wolverine. Interesting card there. We actually have a death that we could play here. I don't think they're expecting that. We also have a demon that we could play there. And last but not least, let's get an extra 2 power here for Yondu. That'll give us 20 in the middle. That'll give us 15 on the right in the raft. All right, let's go with this. All right, we get a null that does nothing though. We have Yondu. And they play their Apocalypse. It is tied there. We get the tiebreaker because of the extra power in Hala. All right, we got that one. So this is gonna be my new favorite deck for the next few days while we have Collapsed Mine as a featured location. Let me know what you're using to counter these Collapsed Mine featured locations. It is gonna show up at that 40% rate, so you're very likely to see it if you play multiple games. But that is what I'm doing. Let me know what you're doing. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it helps you designing some decks to counter this Collapsed Mines. I will see you guys next time. If you guys haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Check me out on social media. If you want to support the channel, check out some of the other videos on this channel and check out some of the sponsors down below. I will see you guys next time though. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.